We're back, baby. Pad level, December 17th, 2025 is when we're recording this. There's only two people here. Our third person, Mr. Dalton, is actually doing some on-field research for us today. He's out in the field this evening at the 68 Ventures Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. So he's actually out there supporting the old Blue Hens and maybe the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns there in the 68 Ventures Bowl. There at what is it? Something Whitney Stadium, South Alabama, where they play.
Uh, Hancock Whitney Stadium. Is that it?
Hancock Whitney Stadium. That's exactly right. So somewhere in this, we'll show you a little picture from Dalton there at the game to show you proof. We tried to get him to give us a little bit of updates live. He's not about it. He can't handle that kind of pressure. So we're not going to do it to him. Okay. But that's where he is. Griff, what's up, man? Tell me something good.
A lot of transfer portal action going on. I don't know if that's good. You can think it good or bad, however you want to, but I mean, right now it's showing that there's, I think, around 740 names that are, I guess, expected to be in the portal. Um, so it's gonna be a wild ride when January 2nd rolls around.
Yes, sir, it is. A lot of big names in the portal. We're going to get to that here shortly. Um, and that's just the world we live in. Now, I've heard some things about this collective bargaining. I've heard a lot of things about this where they're possibly could go into that where players are making decisions about a lot of this stuff. Allegedly, it would help regulate some of the money where, you know, the people who produce are getting paid. The longer you stay somewhere, the more you get paid each year, which would kind of keep people from transferring every year. TJ
Yeah.
Finley, we're talking to you, and stuff like that. So that's positive. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. When it's going to happen, I have no idea. But if that does happen and it kind of regulates some of this stuff, that'd be great, obviously,
Hmm.
because a lot of this stuff's kind of just going absolutely berserk. Speaking of things going absolutely berserk, sorry, go ahead, Griff.
No, I wouldn't even say anything.
Oh, speaking of things going berserk, the coaching carousel is still going, still going. Um, Ohio University fired Brian Smith today. He's been on leave since December 1st, since the first of the month, and they have now cut him loose. What did Griff? How did they word it? What did they say that it was?
Um, he says he
Violation.
engaged in violated the terms of his employment agreement by engaging in serious professional misconduct and participating in activities that reflect unfavorably on the university. But of course, they give no other insight into what that was. So
Very
it's up to
vague.
us to speculate.
Could be anything, right? I mean, could be
Yeah.
absolutely anything.
Yep.
So there's that. That just happened today. You're hearing it. You may have seen it earlier, but you're hearing it here first. Um, Michigan still has not hired a coach. A lot of speculation saying they're waiting on Alabama to finish playing, um, so that if Alabama loses, they may try to go pick Kalen DeBoer. He said multiple times that he's not interested. But we've heard that from coaches before, and then they
Yeah.
just
I
go.
don't know if I believe that a ton. Michigan's a really good job. He's from up in that area, coached up around that area a few times. I don't know if I believe it 100% that it's, he's not interested at all, but we'll see.
Yes, we will see. And if I had money to put on it, I would put on it that he's not going anywhere. But I'm obviously not going to put money on that. So that must tell you how confident I am in that. Coastal Carolina, we were trying to break the news. We may have said this once or twice before, but we are trying to break the news. We didn't. We didn't get to it early enough. Uh, they hired Ryan Beard, head coach of Missouri State. Um, so he's there at Coastal Carolina now. Let's see. We've got two jobs that are still open. So there have been 33 head coaching changes. So that breaks the highest in the last. There were 32 in 2023. So we're now at 33. I don't know if we'll get to any more. It's kind of late. Something else have to happen probably.
Well, I mean, are they counting in, whoever Michigan hires? Because if they get any of the, is that counting that in?
No,
Probably not.
it's only counting the jobs that are vacant or have been vacant. So like
So,
you're saying, if a head coach from somewhere else leaves, that'll make 34. And then like Ohio, if for whatever reason another coach left, that'll be 35. So
hmm
that's kind of what you're looking at there as far as the FBS goes. Everybody else kind of hired somebody new. Utah, Kyle Whittingham is stepping down after the bowl game. They hired, is it the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator? Morgan Scalley. It's one of the
I didn't know they
coordinators.
hired anybody.
Yep. He's promoted from within. Morgan Scalley. He's one of the coordinators. So Southern Miss hired Blake Anderson. I think it's a freaking great job. Excuse me. They just promoted him also. I think it's a great hire. I think that guy does a great job. So those are what we're looking at there. Is some of the newer deals. FCS. Mercer's head coach Mike Jacobs went to Toledo. Mercer's hired Joel Taylor. He was the head coach at West Georgia, who had a phenomenal second year in FCS. If they were or first year in FCS, if they were eligible for the playoffs, they would have probably made it. So that's big for Mercer that they got another good hire. Florida A&M, their head coach James Colsey left. They hire Albany State's head coach, who just made it to the quarterfinals in the Division II realm, Quinn Gray. So that's a big hire for Florida A&M. Florida A&M was not very good this year. Now, I think I mentioned this. Samford, Chris Hatcher, they fired him. I think they went 0-11 or 1-10 or whatever. They hired John Gross, who was some kind of offensive analyst, assistant quarterbacks coach at Clemson. John Gross, Griffin, became the head coach my senior year, or after my senior year at Jacksonville State. He was recruiting me at Jacksonville State.
Yeah, I remember his name on the T-shirts and stuff for the camps.
Ah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's the ones you would have gone to. That's exactly right. Um, all right, and that's good there. So,
Um,
and D, yeah, go ahead.
there's another one. Howard's head coach is
He went to
he's at
Auburn.
Auburn, which is kind of wild that they poached a current head coach for a tight ends coach. So
Well, let me see.
thought was
Hold on
kind of
just a second.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, Golish is hiring a lot of coordinators slash head coaches on his staff.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it to me that their defensive staff has like three defensive coordinators on it, or former defensive coordinators,
Well, yeah.
and
So I mean,
not
three that were SEC defensive coordinators last year. So you got DJ Durkin,
yeah.
who's still the defense coordinator. Tim
You
Banks, who was
got
there at
Tim
Tennessee
Banks.
last year, and then Coleman
Yeah,
Hutzler, who was the DC at Mississippi State last year. So
yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
then now you've got an FCS head coach as your tight ends coach. I mean, that's pretty solid. So he's trying to get it going.
yeah. I mean, it's a
So
packed
we'll see how it.
packed staff.
Yeah. So we'll see how it ends up turning out. Um. So there we go. Now, um, let's see. Griff, transfer portal. What kind of names you got for us, man, in the portal? There's
So
probably
again,
only a couple people who've gotten in, huh?
yeah. So again, this is all expected. Nothing is. I mean, they can obviously, you know, I guess technically not withdraw, but they can
Just not
you
get
know
in.
yeah. You got quarterbacks. It's a lot of quarterbacks. Sam
Griff,
Levitt.
Griff, Griff. When does the portal window open so nobody knows?
Portal window opens January the 2nd and it runs through January the 15th. So
There we
that's
go.
the only portal window. So it's different from past years where they have the fall slash winter window and then the
Yeah,
spring window after spring practice. So this is it. You transfer now or you don't transfer at all for
yeah,
this coming up season. So
yeah.
um, Sam Levitt, Brendan Sorsby, Dylan Rayola, aka Patty Mahomes Jr., DJ
There you go.
Lagway, and Drew Mestamaker round out the quarterbacks in the top 10 as they have them ranked. They have the transfers ranked as it sits right now. Those are
Of course.
five. The top four as it sits are Levitt, Sorsby, Raiola, and Lagway. Um, got some DBs in here. Boo Carter from Tennessee. Jabril Rawls, who's ranked number 8 from Florida State. Jay Crawford, cornerback for Auburn. He's in the portal right now. Brody Foley, tight end at Tulsa. He's a big name that is going to be on a lot of teams' radars. 6'6", 230 tight end. Had a pretty good season this year. Malcolm Simmons, wide receivers. Perry Thompson. A lot of I think I saw today where Mekhi Lemon, or no, he declared for the draft. He's not getting in the portal. He declared for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I could. I think once people get into the portal, I'll be able to do this by position, but I can't really tell. Well, actually, hold on, maybe I can. Trying to look at some wide receivers on here. If there are any big names. There's 3, actually, I think maybe 4 Auburn receivers that are in the portal. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go out and
Auburn,
find
I
some
saw
big ones.
Auburn's got some receivers. Auburn's got a couple of linemen in the portal too, I
Hmm.
saw. Or getting in there. Is Cam Coleman staying?
I've heard good things on that front. I've heard that they're doing whatever they can. I think that might be a reason that some other guys are getting out is because from what I hear, the staff came in and looked like they were overpaying for some guys that they weren't really producing, whether that be their own fault or schematically. So they're trying to keep Cam Coleman, and it's kind of pulling away from some other guys. So I think they're prioritizing more depth than top tier talent. Now, I think once they get into the portal, obviously you'll have to overspend for some guys. That's just how it is. Um, but um,
What a world we live in, huh?
I know
What a
it
college
is.
football world we live in.
Yep, it is. It's really out of hand. And another thing is that they talk about. Told you and Dalton about this the other day. Is there's there's supposed to be no tampering, but you see guys on this list that are already committed places, and I know that you can have, it's not direct from coach to player contact is the one that you can't have, but um, I feel like a guy's not committing to a school without talking to the coach. So
Yeah.
um,
Eli Drinkowitz said it pretty good in a press conference he had. He said there is no tampering because there's no rule against it. So it's
yeah,
not everybody's doing it and it's just being allowed. So there's no word called tampering
hmm,
because it doesn't exist because everything's just wide open.
yeah,
So which is obviously what's happening. So you have guys committing before the portal is open,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I
So
mean, if they don't
um,
enforce these rules, then there are no rules at all to
exactly,
basically. So
exactly, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, yeah. So the transfer portal. I mean, like Griffin said, the portal doesn't open until the 2nd of January.
hmm,
Guys can announce that they're going to get in the portal, but you're not technically in it until January 2nd. And that way you can get on campus is from the 2nd to the 15th. And you commit, you sign, you're on campus probably ASAP. Not probably, you're on campus ASAP. So the quarterbacks are the big ones.
hmm,
Um, that's the big thing is who's going to get these quarterbacks. That's what everybody's going to be watching, right?
yeah,
So, um, and then obviously you're going to watch all the other or check out all the other things too. But the quarterbacks are the big ones. So,
hmm,
anyway, let's jump into a couple stories real quick, Griff. The first one I got, the ACC's come out with their schedule, alleged, or I think they have, or it's almost done. 12 teams are playing 9 games, and 5 are playing 8. So I guess they're gradually getting into the 9 game thing.
yeah,
I don't really know how that works, but they did it. Griff, the TikTok that was put on there about Notre Dame and ACC, hey, just take them off the schedule.
Yeah.
It had a lot of
They had a lot of
interaction.
traffic.
You
Yeah.
you want to talk about interaction? We got it on that one, folks.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you want to go check the Pad Level TikTok, you'll see the one that's got the most views on it. People were getting pretty pissed about it. Some people liked it. Some people got pretty pissed.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them were, and I'll just preface all this by saying this: we appreciate the interaction because that's what it's all about. If you don't,
Absolutely.
if people don't disagree about this stuff, then there's no point in talking about it.
That's right.
And there, I mean, there was a lot of fair points. Like all I was saying was, as the ACC, I wasn't, I didn't sit down and think about the monetary aspects of this and all that stuff. I'm just thinking as Jim, if I were Jim Phillips looking at this school that we let in, especially like in 2020 during the COVID season, they let Notre Dame come in and play a full ACC schedule. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to play because every conference was playing conference-only schedules. So you let it, Notre Dame, we let you come in and do that, and now you're gonna, publicly blast us for trying to get one of our full members in. All I was saying was, basically sticking it to Notre Dame, letting them know that they're not the top of college football. They're not, because, and a lot of the comments were about, the ACC would lose so much money because Notre Dame brings in a lot of views, and that's probably true. But I mean, I think that Notre Dame has Notre Dame been more top tier in this century or the last 10 years than Clemson or Florida State or Miami or teams like that? I don't think so.
Definitely not Clemson.
Notre Dame does bring in a lot of views, but I mean, they haven't really done
Obviously
anything.
they did.
Yeah. But no, it was good. I enjoyed reading some of them. Actually, one of my favorite memes is the Chris Collinsworth and whoever the guy that he comments with, and it says, "Here's a guy who doesn't know ball at the top of it," and I got deemed that on that video, so I thought that was hilarious because I've
That was
always loved that
solid.
meme.
That was solid. I think it's Mike Tirico, or is that who's
Yeah,
with him now?
yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, that was good. There were a lot of, and that's why you're not a commissioner.
Yeah,
There were several of those I
several of
saw,
those.
and I saw one. I saw one. This one kind of hurt me a little. It said they got to quit just letting anybody do podcasts.
I saw
That
that
would
one
kind of
too.
hurt me a little.
That's
That would
funny.
kind of hurt me a little. But
Hey,
that, like we
love
said,
us or hate
that's
us,
what we like.
you watch.
Yeah. Hey, no doubt about it, son. What's that guy's name that said that? Do you remember his name? The bowler?
Um. Pete Weber.
There
Is
you
that who it
go.
was?
Yeah, I think so. We're being Pete Weber in this thing, man. Whether you freaking hate us or not, you watched. So,
Yep. But no, we,
or
we
you
do appreciate it. I
got
mean,
pissed.
all
Yeah, it
that
was
all
great.
that's
I
fun.
mean, yeah, I mean it's a lot of every show we mention it interacting. Guess what? We got it.
Hey,
So, hey,
30K views in like a week was
listen,
crazy.
if 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 it'll get a few people to go watch the full podcast, then hey,
Yeah, worth it.
that means it's working. So
Hey, you just need a
that was
hash.
good.
You just need a hashtag Notre Dame football in every single video you post, whether it has to do with them or not.
You
It'll
know
make its
what?
rounds.
I thought about doing that, and I might start doing it.
That's funny.
So, and then the last one before we kind of get to some games and stuff. Michigan has hired a law firm to probe into their athletic department because they've had a couple scandals here pretty recently, and about how the leadership is, just how the whole department is working. What do you think
hmm
about all that, Drip?
I think, especially in light of this last one, and not because of what, I mean, I guess it is because of what Sharon Moore did, um, which I don't know if you want to get into all that, because I'm sure most people listening have probably seen a lot about it, but I think it's a good idea. Really mainly because of last one with Sharon Moore, because um, there's some credible people that have come out and said that they have heard this stuff, heard about what was going on
Yeah.
at the beginning of the season, middle of the
Yep.
season,
Yep.
and I heard something. And I don't know how true this is. There was somebody had said that Michigan actually went and flew to Tuscaloosa, I think is what they said, and talk to Kalen DeBoer maybe like right after the SEC championship or something like that. So, I mean, if that's true, that is, very, very negligent on the athletic department's part, because
Yeah.
basically you know that all this is going on, and you just the way that I see it, if that's true, they're basically waiting to see, because if they beat Ohio State at the end of the season, they're in the playoffs. How long does this stretch out if they get into the playoffs? And
It still wouldn't be out probably.
yeah, and I think another thing is the timeline is a little too convenient because it happened the last day of signing day, or no, maybe the like a week after signing day was over. I guess not really over,
Yeah.
but I think that timeline's a little bit too convenient. But it's I think
Yeah.
they should. I think they should do a probe into the athletic department, because there has been some things that have been some things that have gone on that um, have really, I guess, degraded the view of Michigan, especially athletics.
I mean, it certainly makes sense just with some of the things that have been going on.
Hmm.
Yeah, are other athletic departments perfect? No. But they hadn't had a couple scandals like this, recently, at least that have come out like that. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's interesting, probably a good thing. Um, do athletic departments all across the country may need to do this every now and then? Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
they
it
do.
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah. So, interesting stuff. Now, Griff, let's get into some games. And look, I've got games from every level because we've got a
Hmm.
national championship that's being played this weekend. We've got semifinals in two other levels of football, and obviously we've got the first round of the CFP going on as well. So I want to start with uh, Division Three. We're going to kind of work our way up,
Hmm.
and here are our matchups we have for Division Three. Is we have Johns Hopkins. They're out of Baltimore, Maryland,
Hmm.
heading over to Wisconsin to play Wisconsin River Falls in a semifinal game. Winner goes to the Natty. I think it's on January 4th. Um, and then the other game we've got is John Carroll is going to North Central, who is the juggernaut in Division Three over in
Hmm.
Illinois. All right. I'm not going to take super long on these. These are my picks. Wisconsin River Falls and North Central make it to the Natty. I think North Central is a done deal, no brainer probably.
Yeah.
Wisconsin River Falls, I think, also is.
Yeah, I like both those teams. I know it's easy to say both home teams, but and I haven't watched much of these teams, but just they seem pretty dominant. So I'm gonna go with North Central and WRF as well.
Yeah, yeah. North Central's obviously been in the national championship or won the national championship the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. Now, Wisconsin River Falls, the conference they play in is like just a bunch of Wisconsin Division Three teams. Is elite. When I was at Barry, we went up to play Wisconsin Whitewater, who's won like 7 national championships or something like that. Their field, their stadium is just phenomenal. Um, anyway, and they were freaking good, buddy. They were good. They had dudes on the field out there who could have played with me at Kennesaw State.
Dang.
I mean, they had a defensive end who was just an animal. Now, this was 4 years ago, but that
Hmm.
dude was a complete freak show, and he was a ball player. So they've got guys like that all over the field, and basically it's because it's either Wisconsin Madison, which is the University of Wisconsin, we all know, in the Big Ten, and then you've got the Division Three league. I think you got some D2 teams, but you got the D3 league where everybody else goes. And those schools, those Division Three schools, are public schools. So a lot of D3 schools are private, so it costs a lot of money to get into them.
Right.
These are public, so it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to go to these schools. You're getting, you're paying a public school, whatever the deal is, and you are playing Division III football, so you've got some cats on the team who can play. So
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin River Falls, North Central. Um, Division II is the national championship. This is Harding versus Ferris State. I talked a lot about them on the last episode. This game is going to be a lot of fun to watch because of, first of all, it's a national championship game. Second of all, Harding, true triple option, under center, flex bone, triple option. They're going to be running read, pull, pitch all game, rocket toss, all that good stuff. In the last game Harding played against Kutztown, they won 49-27 or 50-27 or something.
Mm-hmm.
They threw one pass for 20 yards and scored 49, or I think it was 50 something. Anyway, so that just tells you that right there. And now Ferris State is not under center triple, but they run a lot of triple option principles in the gun with motions. They're going to be reading, quarterback will pull it, and the old modern day triple option where you read, you pull it, and
Yeah.
you throw it to somebody in the flat or in the bubble. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch for me because I just love that kind of football. That's the kind of offensive football I just freaking love to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where it's going to come down to is defense. Who can stop the other? Now, I believe last year Ferris State beat Harding 49-7 or something. So they got after pretty good. I'm picking Harding. Defense is going to show up. They're going to stop Ferris State just enough, and they're going to run that triple option all over them. The head coach at Ferris State said at the press conference, I'd rather play Notre Dame than play Harding. Now, I don't know if he really knows what he's saying. Maybe he's talking about them without Jeremiah Love and Jamarian Price because they're going to the NFL draft. But still, that's a pretty big thing to say about the team you're playing coming up. So, that's not why I'm picking them, but that just goes to show you how. I mean, they play fast. It's hard to emulate the triple option if you're trying to practice it.
Yeah.
It's tough. All right, so give me Harding to win the game.
I'm going to go with the opposite. I'm going to go with Ferris State. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
High scoring, no doubt.
I just both of these teams score a lot of points. So if there were an over to bet on, and we're going to bet on this game, it would be the over.
Yeah.
But give me Ferris State to outlast. I just trust, and they're kind of the same thing with like with Georgia in the Power Four. Like I just trust them. I mean, I've seen them there. I know that they can do it. So give me Ferris State, but give me a close one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. High scoring, it'll be pretty close. I'm just going Harding instead. Now FCS has got the semifinals going on as well, just like Division III. On one side, you got Montana at Montana State, the Brawl of the Wild Part 2 in 2025. Awesome. It doesn't get any better. And then you've got Illinois State at Villanova. So Illinois State is not a seeded team. So for those of you who are not sure, who didn't watch one of the first FCS playoff episodes we talked about, FCS seeds the top 8 who get buys, and then they seed the 9 through 16 who get the home field in that first round game. Illinois State was neither of those. They've been on the road all playoff time and have been winning. They've beaten everybody they played. Obviously, because if they didn't, they would be out of the playoffs. They beat North Dakota State. They dominated UC Davis last weekend. They dominated them.
Yeah.
And they're going to Villanova. Villanova's hosting a playoff game. They hosted the first one, and they've been on the road for the last 2. They got to get their stadium ready. Yeah, get the field ready for everything, right? So they got to kind of go backwards. Now, let's go here first. The Brawl of the Wild Part 2. The first one was played at Montana. Montana State went into Missoula and won a close one, 31-28. Now they're going to be in Bozeman, where Montana State plays. I'm taking the old switcheroo. Montana goes into Bozeman and beats Montana State. Blake Bohannon, wide receiver for Montana, makes the game-winning catch in the end zone for a touchdown to win the game.
Well, then what's the score?
31-28.
All
Same
right.
score.
All right.
Same score. Same score.
I like it. I'm going to take the other side again. I'm going to say Montana State. Um,
Montana State is a 4-point favorite.
mhm. Yeah. Give me Montana State. I mean, they're at home. They went on the road and beat this team earlier in the season. Both teams playing great football though, but I'm gonna take Montana State. I'm, gosh, I'll say that Montana State covers the -4, but I don't think by very much.
I know you want to push it one way or the other. I know you want to push it, dude.
Yeah.
You're such a pusher. All right, so we
Woo.
differ on that. we differ on that. The next one, Illinois State at Villanova. So Villanova goes into Tarleton State last weekend and goes down 14-0 in the first quarter,
Mhm.
and then makes it 14-12 at half. They end up coming back and winning in the second half. They end up holding Tarleton State on their last drive. Tarleton State throws the ball in the end zone, and the guy catches it, and he didn't get the foot down. He's out of bounds,
Oh.
and that would have won it. Obviously, put him in the lead with like a minute and a half or less left.
Mhm.
Didn't get it. Fourth down, didn't convert it. That was on a third down. Down, they don't convert it, and then Villanova's got to get one more first down. Boom, they get it. They run triple option zone read with the tight end and the receiver running across, and they throw it to him. Easy first down.
Mhm.
But Illinois State, the way that they ran the football against UC Davis last weekend, give me a high scoring game. Illinois State wins because they dominate on the ground. I'm going with the non-seeded team to upset Villanova, make the freaking national championship game versus one of the Montanas. Versus, I'm saying, Montana, the Grizzlies out of Missoula,
Mhm.
to play in Nashville, Tennessee.
Um. Yeah. Illinois State. You go on the road. You beat North Dakota State. Fluke. You go on the road. You beat Tarleton State. Not a fluke anymore. Neither of them are. This team looks like they are built to make a run. I'm going to pick Illinois State too. I think it's going to be close, like you said. Both great stories, man. I mean, Villanova. What are they in the CAA? Is that right?
Yes.
And that's the conference that has not done well in the playoffs. But now
And
they're sitting
yes,
here in the
yes.
semifinals. So good for
Yeah.
them. Good for Illinois State, unseeded. I remember Youngstown State a while back made a long run as an unseeded team. So, but give me Illinois State, man. It's Road Warriors. Honestly, if they win
Yeah.
this game, they might want to go to Montana or Montana State to play the national championship because it seems like when they go on the road,
Yeah.
they step up.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me Illinois State to keep this road dog mentality.
Yeah. Illinois State almost did not even, they were one of the last teams put in the playoffs. They lost their last game, if I'm not mistaken, and were still put in the playoffs at whatever their resume was at the time. They was good enough to put them in, and they've made this run. So it's pretty impressive. Okay, now we're going to jump into some FBS. FBS. Okay,
Mm,
so we just watched USF put some BS on the field
yeah,
offensively. And now Old Dominion, you got to give them credit. They played some great defense.
yeah.
Me and you both picked USF, South Florida, and I'm pretty sure Dalton did too. So that game, obviously, we can't pick it because it's over. We already picked it, and we both lost.
I actually picked Old Dominion, so
Oh, the old switcheroo after the game's over. That's Griffin's specialty in these bowl competitions, guys and gals. So it's just the kind of guy he is. The game is coming up right, or probably started already.
yeah, it just started.
Nice. Is Lafayette playing Delaware, the Blue Hens. You see this right here, dog? That's the Blue Hens. Now, here is the great thing about this game is it's in Mobile, Alabama. That's 90 miles from our hometown. Uh, and that's probably 9 miles from where Dalton lives. Dalton is in attendance. He is there. And I told him he's got to send us a picture. We'll post it on here with when we post this episode up. Uh, but Dalton's there. He's probably got this same hoodie on right here in the stands. Yeah, we told him to get on the field. Tell him he's with Pad Level Podcast, but I doubt he did. He's probably not brave enough to do it.
Probably not. Bryce is there with him. Get Bryce to do it. I know him and Stacy will do it
Bryce,
for sure.
Bryce and Stacy are there.
I think Bryce and Stacy rode down there to watch the game with him.
Listen,
Them two will definitely do it. So
them two are probably fired up, son. If y'all don't know Stacy and Bryce, don't worry about it. If you know them, you know what we're talking about. So good for Dalton. I can't wait to hear how it goes. I bet it's going to be fun. They're at Hancock Whitney Stadium where South Alabama plays. Pretty nice little venue. Now, Griff, let's get into some games that have not happened yet. Some games to pick here. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna make my pick for this one in a little while, in a couple hours.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, dude. That's great. That's freaking awesome, man. That's just a great idea, dude. Really nice job by you, dude. All right. Now let's do this. We're gonna go to the game tomorrow. You know what's funny, Griff?
What's that?
Is so I go on the ESPN. When I go on the the app where you can go and look at the games that everybody's picked in our little group. We got a little family group bowl thing. The game tomorrow's not in there. That game's not even in there. Missouri State, maybe it's got to load or something. The game's not in there. Anyway, the game is Missouri State versus Arkansas State, and that game would be the Xbox Bowl. So them boys are about to get an Xbox on their way out, which is pretty cool. They're playing this Xbox Bowl in the Ford Center at the start. They're in Frisco, Texas. All right. So, Griff, give me some expertise on Missouri State versus Arkansas State. Missouri State's coach is now gone to Coastal Carolina.
Missouri State.
Missouri State's coach, that's the one who got hired to Coastal, Ryan Beard. So they're looking. Well, actually, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Missouri State. Congrats to them on the season that they've had. 7-5 their first year in the FBS. Great job by them. Ended on a 5-2 stretch in their last 7 after a fairly rocky start. Arkansas State, kind of the same deal. They started off and it did not look good for them to start off. Started off 1-4 and finished the same 5-2 at the end of the year. So both teams kind of started slow, finished fast. I am going to take. I'm going to take Missouri State. I like Missouri State. I like the Grizzlies to keep this thing moving. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think it's going to be super, super close. But give me Missouri State to edge it out in the Xbox Bowl.
Xbox Bowl, you're going with the Missouri State, the Bears. Butch Jones is the head coach here at Arkansas State.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there for a few years now. He's been in SEC. He's been all over. He was the head coach at Tennessee at one time, if y'all did not remember. Anyway, so I got to see Missouri State in person. I went and watched Kennesaw State play. That's who they were playing. And they ended up, Kennesaw State won it kind of in the last minute there. Had to go score in the last minute. Also, Kennesaw State also played Arkansas State early in the year. One of those losses Arkansas State had was to Kennesaw State. That was when Kennesaw State was finding themselves and really starting to get on the roll when they beat Arkansas State during Kennesaw. Like I said, Missouri State's coach is gone, but I'm picking Missouri State. Arkansas State's favored to win by 1.5. Missouri State, I'm picking Missouri State. I think they got too many weapons. They're too explosive offensively. I don't know if Arkansas State's going to be able to stop them. Give me Missouri State to win the game. And my gosh, I guess cover too. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em. So that's great. Now let's move into Friday. We've got 2 bowl games, 1 playoff game. All right. The first one, we're going to go with Kennesaw State Owls playing Western Michigan in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Guess where that one is? You got it. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Um, Listen, I watched Kennesaw State play in person. We know they've got a quarterback who can play. They got some receivers. They got a couple running backs who are solid. Their defense has been a bend don't break outfit. The offense has shown that they will turn the ball over if you're not careful. Um, Also, Western Michigan, I watched them a few times throughout the year. Their defense is going to be really good. They don't give up a whole lot of points, and their offense can score a lot of points. Their quarterback, Lowry is his last name, can run the ball. Okay, he can run the football, and he can throw it good enough, but he can also be mobile. So that's going to be a challenge. Western Michigan, 3.5, favored by 3.5. I'm going Kennesaw State. I just think offensively too many weapons. I know Western Michigan's defense is good. I'm trying to not be biased here. I know it seems like I am because I have been in the past, but I'm going Kennesaw State because I think offensively they are going to be able to do too much.
Yeah, I like Kennesaw too. Kennesaw, like you said, has a really good offense. They can score a lot of points. Western Michigan has a really good defense. They can limit the other team's scoring. Where I lean is on the opposite side for each team is Kennesaw. They showed it to me defensively against Jacksonville State a couple weeks ago. Jacksonville State's offense is pretty good. You have the top rusher in the country, and Caden Creel, who's a really good quarterback, and Kennesaw basically shut them down until a safety and a muff punt basically got Jacksonville State back in the game. So give me Kennesaw's defense to show up again and hold Western Michigan down. I think that Western Michigan's defense will be able to hold Kennesaw to not as many points as Kennesaw is used to scoring, but I think that Kennesaw's defense will be able to keep Western Michigan's offense at bay. I think Kennesaw will be able to use that explosive offense to win the game. So give me Kennesaw, obviously plus 3.5 money line, whatever you would call it.
Myrtle Beach Bowl, baby. Myrtle Beach playing at Coastals
At the Teal
uh,
Field.
at the Teal Field. Next one, Memphis versus North Carolina State. Hold on a second. This is the um, Gasparilla Bowl. That's going to be down in Tampa, if I'm not mistaken. Down in Tampa, where the Bucks play, where the Buccaneers play. Um, Memphis' head coach is gone. I'm sure they have some opt outs because they got some guys who are probably planning on getting the portal. They had a decent year there at Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, NC State was up and down. NC State played their better games against their better teams they played for the most part.
Yeah.
Miami, they didn't play well. Beat Georgia Tech. Beat Virginia. Wasn't counted as the conference game, which helped Virginia get to the conference championship game, which they lost. So I'm going NC State. I think it's going to be by a big margin. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
because CJ Bailey, the quarterback in NC State, if he's playing, buddy, they're going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah. I like NC State too. I think there is going to be I won't say, I mean, the coaching turnover that's going to happen in the roster, you know, with the transfers out of Memphis because they have a solid team, so they're definitely going to have some guys, trying to get out and look for bigger opportunities as they should in this, world of college football. They should definitely go get theirs. But yeah, give me NC State. I think it will be a 10, 14 point win for the Wolfpack.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it might be even more. They might be 21 plus. Um, let's get to the playoff. Playoff? Yeah, we're talking about playoff. CFP. Alabama goes to Oklahoma. First of all, the over-under is 39.5. I'm looking at it right now. I did not know that, which is low. Oklahoma's favored by 1.5. Listen, I don't trust Alabama's offense enough. And Oklahoma's defense is stout as can be. At least was at the end, towards the second half of the year.
Hmm.
Alabama's defense is going to hold Oklahoma's offense because Oklahoma's offense can't do anything either. But what has Oklahoma done all second half of the year is forced turnovers. And I I got a bad feeling they're going to do that to Ty Simpson again. Maybe not three, but they'll get at least one. And I think that might be enough. And I think Oklahoma wins very close. I think it's another close one. I don't know if they'll go under 39.5, but it's going to be tight and low scoring. Oklahoma wins, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super close, like you said. I think Oklahoma, for the reasons that you said, I just think Alabama's so one-dimensional. If they can't run the ball,
Right.
Oklahoma's going to be able to get to the run with four, maybe five, and they'll be able to drop 6 or 7 out in the coverage. And they got a really good front seven, probably maybe one of the best in the country, definitely probably top 5 front seven in the country. So I think they'll be able to get after the run game. I think they'll be able to get after Ty Simpson and force him into some throws that he probably doesn't want to make. I think Alabama's going to be able to score some. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if this game went under the 39.5 just because both defenses have continued to excel and both offenses have continued to kind of decline throughout this back half of the season. So give me Oklahoma, and it's really the home team. If it were in Tuscaloosa, I'd probably pick Alabama, but just give me Oklahoma with the 3 point home field swing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Alabama needs Cuevas to be back. They need Jam Miller to be back. I mean, we don't know if they're going to be back or not. I'm going Oklahoma. I just trust them to hold Alabama more and force a turnover or two, and that'll
Hmm.
probably win the game. Now, let's go here. We're on Saturday. We're Saturday now. The most anticipated game of the playoffs so far. Miami at Texas A&M. Over under 48.5. Texas A&M is favored by 3.5. What you think about this one there, G?
I like A&M. I wish I know we talked about it last time. I wish this game were not played at 11 a.m. or 12 noon, whatever time zone you're in. I wish this
Mm-hmm.
were the night game, but I like A&M to come out, and I like them to be able to move the ball. I know Miami's defense is definitely a step up from what it was last year. I think they have a good defensive line presence, but Texas A&M has also faced some teams with some good front seven, so and been able to run the ball pretty well on them. Give me A&M. I think it's gonna be close because I think Miami's offense will be able to score some points. I think this game is going to be won up front, and I think A&M has the advantage on just overall in that regard. But give me A&M, and I like it close, 3, no more than 7.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go Miami. Um, give the ball to Malachi Tony, and I'm sure Texas A&M is going to do everything they can to stop him. I don't know what you do, but that's the guy you got to stop. I don't think they'll be able to. Give it to Malachi Tony. Um, Carson Beck, don't throw interceptions. That's been his
That's
kicker in the
a
games that
that's
they
a
lose.
tall ask.
I know, but there's that, and I think Miami's defense, the front, like you said, the front seven, I think they hold up. Give me Miami, and it's going to be close.
Hmm.
It's going to be razor thin margins in this game, I think. But I think Miami ends up getting it done. Miami over Texas A&M. Now, the next two playoff games, people are basically writing off. They're saying, "Oh, these are done." Right? Tulane's going to Ole Miss. It's a rematch. Ole Miss won 45-10. That was when John Summerall was the full-time coach at Tulane. Now he's like a half-timer. That was also when Lane Kiffin was the head coach at Ole Miss. Now he's at LSU. Now Pete Golding's the head coach at Ole Miss. The spread 17.5. Ole Miss's way. Do you think Ole Miss covers that? Do you think Tulane keeps it tighter than that?
Yes and no. I think Ole Miss covers that,
Oh,
and I think Tulane does not keep it tighter than that. Um, we've seen this before, and I don't expect this game to be much different than the first time it happened. Um, Summerall, and I know that both teams have coaches that are out. Um, but I just think Ole Miss's talent level is far ahead of Tulane. I think I don't know if it's going to be about 35 like it was last time, but I think it's going to be 24, 24, 27, some 24 to 27 point win for Ole Miss, not the score. Give me Ole Miss. I like them to cover the 17 and a half.
yeah. Um, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think Ole Miss is going to win big. I mean, I like John Summerall, I like Tulane, but I just don't think they're going to be able to match up with them.
Hmm.
Just like they did early in the season. You know, it might be where maybe the first quarter and halfway through the second quarter, Tulane's kind of there, but then I think Ole Miss will just finish the game out and
Hmm.
pull away, 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 and Ole Miss wins by 20. The next one that people are kind of writing off, JMU at Oregon. Now this one is a 21.5 point favorite. JMU's going coast to coast to go play Oregon over in Eugene. I'll start this one, man. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. JMU's coach is a half and half. Ole Miss, I mean not Ole Miss. UCLA and JMU's coaching right now has been doing UCLA meetings too, just like John Summerall's been doing Florida meetings.
Hmm.
Uh, Oregon, both of their coordinators are gone, right? Both of them are gone.
Yeah, I
I
think Will
know
Stein. I think they're both still coaching in the playoffs, but they
they're going to
are.
coach in the playoff and then
I
move.
think that's
Okay,
what I read it maybe last week or something. So.
okay. So they're kind of the half and half deal, right?
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, half and half. But still, I just don't think JMU is going to be able to do a whole lot to Oregon to stop them. I just
Hmm.
don't. I mean, do I think they win by 22 points or more? I think it's a good shot. I mean, it's a good shot. There's certainly more ways to do that than the opposite. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say Oregon covers and they win by 28, maybe.
Yeah, I think Oregon and Dan Lanning are looking to make a statement in this first round after the way their first game last year went. I think they're going to be looking to bury James Madison. Hats off to James Madison for winning the Twitter battle though. Goodness gracious, I don't know if you've been keeping up with their Twitter posts, but some of them are pretty
I've seen a
funny.
couple. Seen a
Some of them
couple,
are
yeah.
pretty funny. But yeah, I like Oregon. I like them to cover this 21. I think this game might be a 31 plus point win. I just don't see James
Yeah.
Madison being able to do anything. And I hope they
Yeah.
prove me wrong. I'd love to see James Madison win this game, but it'd
No
be
doubt.
electric if they did.
No
Um,
doubt.
but yeah, give me Oregon big, Ole Miss big.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. Um, let's move on. We're moving on to Monday. We're just gonna pick a couple games start of the next week, so that way it kind of gets us to our next time together. Washington State plays Utah State, and that is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. You know where that is? That's in Boise. That's on the Smurf turf. Um, Washington State's coach has left. He's gone to Iowa State, so this will be the second year in a row they've had a new head coach. Second year. Um, give me Utah State. I think Utah State plays a tougher brand of football than Washington State, and maybe I just like that. Maybe I think that's more efficient. Give me Utah State. They're only a favorite by 1.5. Utah State covers that and they win by 7, 10.
Yep, yep. Give me Utah State as well. They can score some points. And Washington State changing of the guard at the head coach, which we've seen interim head coaches win bowl games before, but I like Utah State to win this. I like them to cover the 1.5. Um, so that's what I got in the old Potato Bowl.
Yeah, Washington State had a really good run there in the middle of the season where they almost beat Virginia, almost beat Ole Miss, but then after that they were just not the same.
Hmm.
So I'm going to go Utah State, and with the change in leadership, go Utah State. Now we're on Tuesday, December 23rd. Toledo will play Louisville in the Boca Raton Bowl. Toledo also, head coach is leaving.
Hmm.
All right. Toledo's head coach is leaving. Louisville's coach is not. Jeff Brom. I think this one might get ugly. And usually in bowl games, I like to go Toledo because they usually have a good showing. I don't see it happening in this one. I think Louisville gets out, it gets a good lead and keeps it, and maybe even extends the lead. They're 6.5 point favorite. I think they cover that one kind of
Yeah, I do
easily.
too. I do too. Louisville's kind of been one of those up and down teams. They have the big win over Miami, and then you kind of have uh, some not so great losses there towards the end of the season. For their standards. But I still like Louisville. I like Louisville to take care of business in this one. Toledo changing head coaches, kind of a tough thing. But give me Louisville. I like them to cover 6.5.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Another one on Tuesday. There's three on Tuesday. That's a great day for football there. New Orleans Bowl. You know where that is. Western Kentucky at Southern Miss. Southern Miss has got Charles Huff left. They promoted from within, so I mean it's a coaching change, but not a completely new change.
Mm-hmm.
Western Kentucky has had no movement, and Western Kentucky can score points. Give me Western Kentucky to cover the -5.5. I would put some confidence points on that. You know the ESPN does the confidence points. I'd put some high confidence points on that. I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Hilltoppers by a fair amount. Give me them winning by 10 plus.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that, man. I'm in the same boat. The Frisco Bowl. This is going to be the nightcap on Tuesday, December 23rd. The Frisco Bowl, UNLV. That's Dan Mullen and the Cardiac Kids. I've not heard his name come up in any of these coaching searches, but guess who thinks it should be? Our father, Shannon. He thinks that
Really?
that Dan Mullen needs to be in these coaching searches, but I don't disagree.
Yeah,
But I
he
think they
will be.
probably want to see a little more from him.
Yeah, I think if he keeps doing the same thing next year, when there inevitably comes a job open, he'll definitely
Oh yeah,
be one of those G5 coaches that has his hat in
yeah.
the ring.
I think next year for sure because they'll probably win at least 8, maybe 9 or more. If they really get hot, they may win 10. If he
Hmm.
does that, he's good as gone. In a good way for him, I guess. But UNLV will play Ohio. Ohio just fired their coach today, as we talked about. UNLV is going to score a lot of points. They're a 6.5 point favorite. Now Ohio's coach is gone. He was on leave of absence. Now he's totally gone. This is in Frisco, Texas. UNLV is going to light him up, I think.
Yep, I agree. I think it's going to be a fairly bad beating by UNLV. I really don't think it's going to be close. I mean, I think it's going to be close maybe in the first quarter because I think Ohio's defense maybe can get a couple stops, early. But if UNLV comes out with their first drive scripted and scores a touchdown, it may be on. It may be
No doubt.
done before it starts.
No doubt. I'm with you 100%. I'm right there with you, dog. And then the last one we'll talk about is Cal versus Hawaii. This is this is the classic Hawaii Bowl. Uh, on Christmas Eve night, 8 p.m. Cal goes to Hawaii to play basically a home game for Hawaii. That's the great thing about the Hawaii Bowl. If Hawaii's bowl eligible, they're playing in the Hawaii Bowl. They're on Christmas Eve. They're playing in the Hawaii Bowl. They're gonna finish off your Christmas Eve in a great way before Santa Claus his butt down the chimney,
Hmm.
and you're gonna get to watch some Hawaii Rainbow Warriors go play football. And because it's a home game, and I love Timmy Chang and what he's done there, I loved it when he was a player in Hawaii. I'm going Hawaii to win the football game and cover the 1.5.
Hmm. I'm going to take the opposite. I'm going to take Cal. They finished the season hot. Or on a good note, I guess, with that win, the win at Louisville,
Yeah,
and then they lost to Stanford, but then they got back on track, beating SMU at home. Give me Cal to show up, because looking at their schedule, when they show up and they want to win, they can. So, give me Cal. Give me a very narrow margin, though. I think it's be close. I think Hawaii's a good team, but I think Cal's going to be able to squeak it out in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl.
I think it's going to be close. I really do. But I think that Hawaii is gonna finish it out. Home game for them. They're back in this game. I don't think they've been in this game in a few years, and so they're probably fired up. Give me the Hawaiians to go get it done. And then there's not a game Christmas Day, obviously, and they get back started on that Friday. And there are 3 games on the Friday the 26th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games on Saturday, December 27th. Wow. And
That's a
then,
big day.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, um, anyway, that's what we got, folks. Griff, before we sign off, uh, with the college football, everything in college football, what if they said, Griffin, we're going to give you one thing that you want to tweak or fix about college football, what would it be? One thing.
Um, NIL.
Okay. Elaborate.
I
Just a little.
think,
Nothing crazy.
yeah. So the obviously the two big issues are transfer portal and NIL. I think you can use NIL to kind of limit the transfer portal stuff because really the only reason people get in transfer portal is for to get increased NIL earnings, which is it's a fair point. With these players not being employees, I think I think, and I don't know all the legal stuff about all this, so this is just me strictly speaking in Candyland. Um, is I would
Like you normally do.
right I would put a cap on NIL earnings. This way you don't bankrupt these boosters and these collectives from these schools, and that kind of evens the playing field a little bit, where guys aren't just bouncing around. I think you need to, which I feel like with the Georgia and Demond Wilson case, um, put a contract, so many years for you to get this amount. You have to stay this many years. I also think you need to go to incentive based contracts instead of just guaranteeing, this guy $1.5 million. Jackson Arnold's a great case on that. You give him over $1 million and you don't get $1 million worth of production out of him.
Yeah.
So let's get some incentives in there, academic and athletic. Um, I think that and if you're like say you're a freshman that's probably going to redshirt, we in the weight room we need you to get to this weight, maybe this percentage of body fat. You need you to be this, muscular, whatever it may be. I think we've got to structure some contracts with these kids for NIL that can be more beneficial to both parties because right now it's just a free for all for the players and the schools are the ones kind of getting screwed out of a lot of this
Yeah.
because you're
I
getting
and
these
I
freshmen in and paying them a lot of money and you're not reaping the benefits. So there's no point in paying a 5-star freshman $400,000 to come to your school, and he maybe doesn't play a lot. His freshman season, and then he's out. So you're out 400 grand, and you got really nothing out of him. So that part is kind of ridiculous to me.
yeah, I think that's where some of the collective bargaining could come in and help. If they do that. I don't know much about it either, but it is getting out of hand, and because people can do whatever they want, and it just doesn't make sense. So the thing I would change is the calendar.
Hmm.
Is I would just the season ends on January 1st. It's over, right? Then there's certainly a way to do it. Week 0 is week 1. You play through the season. If you do conference championship games, whatever, it's right after. No, 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 no. We do the season, Army, Navy, and then you get into the playoff. Now, I would still like to do bowl games because I love bowl games. Um, if you could do them all like a week or two after the season, I think that'd be great. So you're not. I mean, some of these teams not in the playoff are not playing until January 2nd, so they've got a whole month basically until they play their last game of the year. I would just condense everything down. It would make it easier on so many more people.
Hmm.
I mean, it would make it easier on so many more people. You won't have to worry about coaches leaving before bowl games or whatever because they're happening right now, and you can leave and be there before the spring semester starts. You can be there for recruiting, do everything for coaching wise. Transfer portal, it doesn't even open until January 2nd. The season will be
Hmm.
so you can play in the bowl game, and people are still going to opt out, but I think that's garbage sometimes. But you can still play all the stuff you want to play, and then get in the portal after the season's over if you just have to do it. So I think that could help solve a lot of stuff, and there's probably a lot of holes in what I'm talking about. But I think if you get that kind of set up in that way where you condense it, where it's not the season's not going into middle late January, I think that can really help too. So
Absolutely.
if you if you have an idea about what would fix college football, just let us know. That's why there's a comment section on Spotify, on YouTube, on TikTok, on X. I got to start posting stuff on X. I got to get some of those videos out on X to see what they do. Uh, might be even worse than TikTok, and it may
It'll
get
be
out to even worse.
ruthless.
Yeah, it will be, no doubt. But comment and let us know what you think, and we'll maybe take an idea and we'll run with it here on the show. So thank you so much. If you're here, listen to us. This is one of our shorter episodes. Thanks for being here. We even though it's just me and Griff, we'll get some correspondence from Big D at some point. When he's on with us next time, we'll have him tell us about how the game went, and y'all get to hear that from him. So like I said, thank you for being here. We greatly appreciate you. Um, and keep watching football, baby. In the last episode, I said grow up and watch football. I'm still saying it. Just watch it every night. That's how you become a man. So we love you so much. Please subscribe, follow, rate, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye bye.